Well, hello, and welcome to Opal City Confidential, a Starman podcast, episode 43. And I'm Ross Aiken, your host, and I'm here to give you my thoughts on Starman Volume 1, Issue 1718, the Will Payton era. So let's just hop to this. Let's get the pertinent data from Mike's Amazing World. This comic, Starman 17, was published on October 31st, 1989. I had just turned 25, and the Oakland A's had just won their last World Series 3 days earlier. For me, that's important. It was cover dated December 1989. The title of the issue is Deadly Attraction. It's a 22-page story. The editor of the comic is Brian Michael Augustin. Will Payton's the main character. It's written by, of course, Roger Stern, woohoo, Tom Lau, woohoo, Scott Hanna, inks, Timothy Harkins, letters, Carl Gafford, colors. Will Payton here, guest starring Power Girl. She had last been seen in Captain Atom 34, and it'll appear in next issue. I also get to see Jane Marie Payton and Carl Simon. The villain is Doctor Polaris. This is his first post-crisis appearance. I did not realize that. Guest appearance by Flash. This is Wally, and him and Power Girl start their part of the story in the Justice League Europe headquarters. Some regular guest characters show up. We'll do that. We get a flashback of Raymond Dennings, Will's father, because the last issue was so much about that. Some notes. This story takes place prior to Justice League Europe 7, in which Power Girl was critically injured. An editor's note confirms this sequence of events. Power Girl mentions that Dr. Polaris was given amnesty for help during the war with the Anti-Monitor. That was something I thought was kind of cool. And here's a synopsis from Mike's. Power Girl uses a Justice League teleportation device to travel from Paris to New York. Her trip is sidetracked, and she winds up in the New Mexico lab of Dr. Neil Emerson. Her sudden arrival triggers Emerson's split personality, causing him to become Dr. Polaris again. Power Girl is initially trapped by Polaris, but when his mind begins to waver, she escapes. Unable to contact the Justice League, Power Girl seeks out Starman to assist her. Starman arrives on the scene, but Dr. Polaris is able to take them both down. First thing I want to talk about this comic is about the flashback to Raymond Dennings. I really liked the last issue because it was about Will, his mom, his sister, and their relationship with Raymond Dennings, the father that abandoned them. So we met this loving family, mother, son, daughter. Son becomes superhero. But they're tight. They love each other. They look up to their mom. Their mom has made a great life for them. They're both, Jane's doing what she wants to do. Will's trying to figure out what he wants to do and become a superhero. But they love each other. Tight unit. But the bringing of Raymond Dennings back into their life, alive only a short time, but just opening all these wounds. What I liked about this comic, you still see that happening. It's not everything sewn up. Okay, we were upset last issue. That we're going to see them grieve. And I think their grief is portrayed realistically in this story. I think it's a wonderful piece. And I really like, a big fan of the way Stern is filling in the backstory. It's really, all Jane wants to do is talk about her mom doesn't. Will, he wants a distraction, but he's so angry. He's so angry. And, he's having a hard time with work. He did his one job where his copywriter is coming in, so he goes to Carol and he's like, yeah, I'm going to work with you, which is nice. A little more. It's a little bit of that Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, Peter Parker kind of thing. You got to give characters something to do outside of being in their costume. It's dull if they're never in their civvies. I really think that, for me, that is true. I need to see secret identity. I need to see interpersonal interactions, and on top of beating up bad guys. But this one was good. The Polaris, I'm not a big GL fan. I like Green Lantern. I've read different runs of it on and off, but I don't know his rogues gallery, so I didn't realize that this character has split personalities, which is interesting. I'm really still not sure how his powers control people, these two. other than, just using electromagnetism to knock him out. But this was a good comic. It was fun. It's well paced. There's a good mix of both, jumping to and from with Power Girl, jumping around the Peyton family as you were, seeing what they're going through, and, get just world building. Continue world building. Continue. You don't just build it and then stop. You continue to do it. But the action on this one was good. It was good. It was great. It wasn't uber, but it's part one. It's part one. So we're tying up some stuff from last issue, and we're getting Power Girl where we needed to be to team up. Let's team up with Starman. Here, you can hear me crinkling, putting it back in bag. Because I do have the hard copies of these, and I do. It was kind of like, sometimes I'm flipping through on my phone, but it's easier when I have the issues. But now let's go to 18. This bad boy is a thick comic. Oh yes, there's a little mini comic in here, which is absolutely terrible. What is it? Hold on, I'm flipping through. I will say, let's talk about Tom Lyle. Oh, Lightning Racers. It's a toy crap. Damn, I don't even remember this. Toy ad in the middle of the comic. I'm really digging the art. I think Lyle and Hannah's art gets better and better. I think Stern's writing is getting better and better. If I was reading it issue, would have probably been on the top of my read pile back in the late 80s. But, I wasn't even buying comics when this was coming out because I was broke. All right. So this comic was released. That is volume 1, number 18 on November 28th, 1989. Its cover date's January 1990. Again, Brian Michael Augustin. Same creative team except for Robert Pinaha's back as letterer. Power Girl again. Everything's the same. Other character Muggs appears. The synopsis for this one is Starman and Power Girl have been defeated by Doctor Polaris. In order to escape, Starman is forced to turn up his heat, which burns Power Girl. Once free, they work together to stop Polaris. Will uses the power to change his face to trigger Polaris' mental issues. Dick move, but I guess that's what you got to do. This allows the hero to prevail. After the battle, Will returns home where his mother reads him the riot act. She demands to know where he was. Will is angry and eventually reveals his true identity to her. When Marie learns that Will told his father first, she kicks him out of the house. Whew. See, grief, man. Grief. Again, another really good issue. The Dr. Polaris story is really more secondary to what's going on behind the scenes with Will, Marie, and Jane. And again, that's the important part. It's what was happening to Will as a person. But I do like how he just makes himself super hot and burns his way out. Jane's losing it at work. They bring down the whole building. And then the battle scene's pretty good. I like the action in this a great deal. With Polaris, they blow up the building by superheating Will so they can escape. Polaris is used a force field to protect himself. He then throws metal around Will, sealing him off, wrapping him up like a mummy in metal. And then we're cutting back to Marie and Jane, and Jane gets tired of her mom not wanting to talk about about Jane's dad. But then there's this awful mini cover for these Hot Wheel knockoffs. Lightning Racers, 132 scale, 4-wheel drive. It's the end of this era. This is weird. Comics are so not like this anymore. I forgot about these. This is the beginning of the ad for toys. It's like the Transformer cartoons were just ads, stuff like that. So, but the fight scenes are good. Polaris is, Will gets free. It's a lot of flying battles. It's some good. Lyle draws good action, and him taking on the face of Polaris' his real Neil Emerson, his real identity, his real personality. Yeah, it's kind of like, man, this guy's got mental health issues, and okay, if you're gonna trigger him to shut down, I guess that's okay. But it's a way to use his ability to change face, which becomes is a big part of his power set. And then there's the whole thing with his mom, which starts with him coming home. She's riding him. He's talking to Carol about getting, they're talking about work and stuff like that. But she feels that he's lying to her because he's leaving things out. He needs stuff done. He's too busy being a superhero to do the work, putting a strain on their personal relationship. And then Mom comes in and he's tired of it. He's just like, he's burning it. I mean, he's 26 years old. He's trying to make a living. He's one job's failing. He's not paying attention to the other one because he's a superhero. And his mom is just angry at the world because of Raymond Dennings. And he shows who she is, and then he explains it to her. And it looks like they're having a good conversation. But when he says that he told the dad first, and he, never been part of her life, and she just loses it and throws him out. And it ends with her holding, it's really sad. It ends with Marie holding the picture of the three of them crying. I really liked it. I really like both these issues. I really like the last 3 or 4. I'm loving the series more and more. But I like that what we've had over the last 3 issues is a story about family, what we make of a family, the missing pieces, the somewhat missing pieces, like the dad who wasn't there, how that affects the children and the mom differently. And you get to see that. I was 13 when my folks divorced, and the way my parents handled their divorce were their divorce two very different ways. And I was very fortunate that my dad and mom were pretty much like, this has nothing to do with you. This is our business. And not always 100% that was done on both sides, but I understood it. So, but this is something else. The kids really don't really remember him. And they have to deal with the fact that he was their father. They're going to grieve his death because they have had to grieve him twice. Grieve when he left them, and they had 20 years to move on, and then grieve him again when he died. And we're seeing, I think, a really good take on grief. And it's good storytelling. I care about these characters now. I understand what they're going through because I've grieved like anybody has. I think this is great comic books. I wish comics modern, I wish more comics were like this. There's certain writers that I found that, especially in this year, that I love. Nietzsche's, Stern, Byrne, Claremont, Englehart, any number of them, where they really, when they're juggling multiple characters, they give all the other characters something to do. There's progression. There is a subplot. It's something in Bronze Age comics that some people younger than me think is a little dated. I like it. It's what I'm looking for in a good comic, and I've become a big fan of this Starman one. These are great. It's more about that family dynamic, though, but still a great, fun read. So that's my take on these. Tomorrow this will go up sometime the day on the 26th. I'm on vacation. Yay, vacation! I'm reading a bunch of comics. When I'm done with recording this, I'm going to hop on a Zoom call with some friends, and we're going to talk latest Gallifrey's Most Wanted, and that will drop even later tonight on the 26th, where we cover the Church on Ruby Road, the first Ncuti Gatwa, Doctor Who, and I've enjoyed watching it a couple times. But Wednesday we'll do My Legion Adventure. We'll do the next two of the last 4 Action Comic backups, which I'm kind of glad will be done. I'm going to probably record the episode after the Legion Adventure after that this week too. It may drop this week. It may drop next week. And after that, I have a couple ideas for what I'm going to talk about for this weekend. But you're going to get 3 episodes this week. I'm going to get back in swing. I'm going to try to record a couple more too, just to be ahead of the game. All right, folks. As always, be safe, be smart. Please be kind to one another. We got a new year coming up. Let's give 2024 a good start and read some comics.